Hi everybody, this is Mrs. Wilson, and today we're going to be looking at the Declaration of Independence. Yesterday you did a brain pop over the Declaration of Independence. You took a review quiz and then a graded quiz and did some challenge activities in preparation for today. And in class today, my students are doing a bell work question on the back of a handout that you're going to be filling out as well, that I'll refer to in a moment. And on the back of that handout, I'm asking them to tell me what they think the worst thing was the British did to the colonists that motivated them to fight for independence. And even though I haven't had this class yet with them, I imagine they will say things like no taxation without representation, killing presumably innocent citizens in the Boston Massacre, perhaps all the taxes on paper products and tea, of course, and just taxes in general that were created to help raise money to pay off the war debt from the French and Indian War, all sorts of stuff, and many of the things that you actually listed in the letters that you wrote. And so we will talk about that. And then I will go to telling them that we're going to look at the main elements of the Declaration of Independence and the purposes of the Declaration, and explain the importance of the Declaration of Independence and how that document was a list of grievances, really not unlike what you wrote in your letter to the Loyalist. A list of grievances, a list of complaints, kind of outlining all the various things that the British government did to make them angry and why they felt that it was time to make a change. And that change included creating their own government, a government run by themselves, not by a monarchy that they can't even vote for, that's 2,000 miles across the Atlantic Ocean in Great Britain. And there is a point about a year before the Declaration of Independence is signed on July 4th, 1776. A year before that, on July 5th, 1775, King George III receives a letter, an olive branch petition is what it's called, from our founding fathers, asking King George to essentially let bygones be bygones. We've all made mistakes. No matter what has happened in the past, we are loyal to the crown. We are British citizens. We really don't want to go to war with you. And King George reads this olive branch petition, kind of a peace offering, if you will, and immediately is angered by it. He looks at the colonists as being really ungrateful brats. I don't know how else to say it. Ungrateful, petulant children that he has protected with his army for, the British government has protected them for over a century and a half, and they're ungrateful for it. And as far as a peace offering, that's a no-go for King George. He's not going to put up with a peace offering if the colonists want to behave like children by dumping tea into the harbor. Then they get whatever they deserve. And if that means war, then war is what it will be. And the founding fathers received this olive branch petition, his response to the olive branch petition, and they're really beside themselves. And really, it gets to a point where our founding fathers have kind of, they've had it too. They're fed up. They've done everything they can to make amends with the king. Everybody has behaved in an atrocious way, I guess you could say. Everybody has some blame, I guess, if you want to go that far. But at some point, enough is enough. And the king isn't willing to accept their kind of their offer for peace between the two entities. And so they decide, you know what, we're done. We've done everything we can. We're tired of the troops living in our homes and in our communities, monitoring everything that we do. We're tired of high taxes without our ability to have a representative from the colonies in the British Parliament. In fact, we're just plain tired. And even if the king, at this late date in 1776, even if the king did change his mind and decide he wanted to accept the olive branch petition that was offered a year earlier, quite honestly, it's too late. It's really just too late. And let's just listen to this little explanation, put much better than what I could ever do.
Trials, no train, no liberties, no tea. Colonized America, we will stand for tyranny. Okay, and it's too late to apologize. It's too late. I said it's too late to apologize. It's too late.
All right, awesome video. Love that video. My kids love it year after year, but I think it does a really incredible job of putting into words in a musical way just the ideas that it's really time for the colonies to become their own independent nation. They've proven themselves over 150 years that they can manage their own affairs, they can create their own government, they can elect their own officials, they can pay their own taxes, and they really don't need to be watched over anymore by the king. And so they begin to formally draft the Declaration of Independence, which is signed on July 4th, 1776. So what I'm going to have you do today is look at portions of the Declaration of Independence. And before we do that, though, we're going to review some vocabulary. And one I already did go over with you, the word grievance. Make no mistake about it, this letter is a list of complaints. It's a list of grievances. It's really kind of a breakup letter. Like if you had a boyfriend or a girlfriend and you just, you wanted to break up with them and you write them a letter, and in the letter you tell them all the reasons why. That's what this is. It's a breakup letter. It's a breakup letter of the colonists from Great Britain. So a formal list of complaints. They will declare their independence. They will put it in writing. They will declare their freedom. They will make sure that everybody in the colonies has their own copy of this document. It's incredibly important that each one have their own copy of this document, and that's just what they do. They will talk about rights. Now, a right in general is something that is established by law, by a government. So I had the right to vote since I was 18. I had the right to get my driver's license since I was like 16. Those are laws that are created by governments. But the ones that Thomas Jefferson is talking about in here are laws that are not created by governments, but those that are created by God. And those are called unalienable rights. And finally, treason. In other words, something you need to understand about all these founding fathers, that as they were putting this document of freedom together, that had they been apprehended or arrested during this process and found guilty of a treason, which is really betraying one's country, a crime against one's country, they could have been arrested and hanged. And so they know that they're putting their lives on the line. Everybody that's involved with this knows they're putting their lives on the line, but they are going to do it anyway because freedom is their liberty, their freedom, their unalienable rights of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness were greater than any laws made by a monarch or the parliament. All right, so you will, after you complete your Declaration of Independence activity, you're going to respond to Padlet questions. One being what motivates people to make change, and two, why do we have a government? And really quickly, the assignment that you will be doing looks like this. You will be getting into this document. You will be examining, let me get into the right page, various aspects of the Declaration of Independence. You will read the left-hand side, the passage right here that's in the Declaration, and then over on this side you will type the answer. And so for here it says, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The question here says, identify and write 3 rights that Jefferson says that people are born with. Can't emphasize that enough. These are rights that we are born with. And of course, they are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And if these are rights that are given to us that we are born with, the only entity that can take those rights away from us are God. Not a government, not a king, not a president, nobody but God, since He gave them to us to begin with. So after you complete your document, reading your different passages from the Declaration of Independence, on the second page, you've got some other activities that you'll respond to, and then you'll complete the Padlet that I showed you right here. Message me if you have any questions. Good luck, have fun, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.